What's up everybody, it's Eli here from TreeFall Studios, and today I'm bringing you a brand new devlog for tilting tiles. As you can see, we're on the camera here. Usually my devlogs, I just do a voice recording over the footage, but today we've got so much going on, so much stuff. I'm trying some new stuff. I'm going to play live and talk over the game instead of pre-recording it and then talking over it after that way. So this is just going to be a new experiment, always trying to change things up on the channel, and we're going to see how it goes. Before we get started, this could be broken up in a bunch of different devlogs, so it's going to be a really long video. So I'm going to thank our patrons before we get started instead of at the end of the video, because we have a new patron to shout out to this time. I want to thank everybody who supports TreeFall Studios on patreon.com. You can check out our Patreon page in the links in the description below. Their names will be on the screen. And we got to give a personal shout out to Carmen Red, LV Overhyped Gamer, and a brand new patron this month, Nicholas Haynes. Thank you so much for everything you do for TreeFall Studios on patreon.com. Alright, let's get started. So everybody, I'm taking a look at the TV screen over here, and I'm going to be playing the game on the PlayStation 4. The game is almost done. As you can see, we're on the title screen. It's looking awesome. You got the X button floating up and down. You got the Tilting Tiles logo right in the middle. A very simple stage setup. When you press the X button, it flies away, shoots off, and we warp in our text. We have stage select, how to play, options, and credits. You can see as you scroll through the menu items, there are little animations for little squares on the outside. Just very simplistic, but nice little touch to make this menu a little bit more in depth. We're going to be going over the stage select and the major changes on basically how the game runs, but first I want to show a little bit of these options and credits here. So this is the first game that we are going to do new language options. That we have a few different options here. We have English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, and that's it for now, but we're going to try to add some more. But as you can see, as I click through the languages, they change on the menu and they change on the side. This is what I'm currently working on, one of the last things to finish before submission. I don't have every single translation for every piece of text done in the game. Basically just got to get it translated. I'm having some help with some of the translations, and then some of them we're kind of just looking up a little bit just so they could be available in there. But so that's new for this game. It's our first try at translating the game into different languages. So pretty excited about that. As you can see, like for instance, the game speed, the character speed option, it doesn't change. I don't have that text in there just yet. But basically this is going to be, I think, an option for speedrunners. I'm going to change the ability to play the game and slide faster, but that functionality is still being tested, so it's like the last thing basically for the options. Hit the circle button to go back. If you hit the credits, you can view the credits at any time. I'll just go ahead and briefly show you guys that because it's brand new. A 3D scene in the background. The minimalist text credits fly up. You can skip it at any moment and warp right back into the title screen. So that's how that works, and that gives you a better example. The logo animates in at the very beginning as well. Just little features here and there. So when you click on stage select, this is major change. This is basically how the game runs, because it's just a simple level select game, no story, no hub, nothing like that. You can instantly jump right into the action and pick a level right from the title screen. So you got a little information here. It tells you the world. Once you scroll up past, you click through the first, I think 25 stages are World 1, and then for instance, okay, so you can see the thumbnail changes, World 2 changes, so it tells you World 1, 2, 3, tells you if it's a bonus level, and you can see also on top of that, as I press up and down, the little arrow indicators have a little animation as you're changing through the stage. It tells you the stage name, so stage 1, 2, 3, or 4, so that changes, and it saves your best score, so it lets you know per level, how many moves are you allowed to use on this level and what your score was. So you can see, for instance, so here is one where you can beat the standard move limit. My best score is 8 out of 10. You know, I got 8 out of 10 moves. This level, for instance, you cannot beat the level in under 15 moves. You have to do it in 15, so it shows 15 out of 15, 9 out of 10. So they all vary. There's different routes for different levels. So some you can beat by a lot of moves, a couple moves. Some of them have like 3 or 4 hidden routes that you can basically get through the level at different times. And so they basically show you what your score is, and if you press the circle button, you'll pop back into the menu. So that's how the game works. So what we're going to be doing is skipping all through World 2. It's not really too much of a spoiler. You can see a bunch of the level thumbnails here, but you know that doesn't actually, you're not in the full level and you're not watching me solve the puzzle for you. So I like how it's very large and there's a pretty large level thumbnail. I think that looks pretty good off on the right. Everything is off to the right. So let me know in the comments if you like the stage select the way that it is. I went through a few different iterations. I had smaller circles at first, then went larger, then did a little bit of a drop shadow around the circle, keeping everything super subtle. Had a lot of people take a look at it, but so far right in the middle, stage name above it, score under it, and a thumbnail in the middle. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. That's what we're sticking with for now. Just let me know what you think about it in the comments below. So this devlog, there's been a major change because there's an entire new world that you had never seen before. World 3 is in snow and ice, and we're going to take a look at this level really quick because this is like the first one. So basically, as you can see, the music is now in the game as well. This soundtrack for this world is going to be coming up later today or tomorrow. I love this music and I love this art. The way that the fog just kind of fades in with the blue, the little subtle outlining on the outside of the screen, the snow coming down, the music, the lighting, it all just, you know, it really comes together to give you that feel. Basically, so this world is, now you've gotten through the game, you've learned how to use bridges, you've learned how to use teleports and whirlwinds and all the environmental factors. You've learned how to double jump and do diagonal moves and solve very complicated puzzles. So once you get to this point in the game, you unlock the ability to tilt. So the game is called Tilting Tiles, and basically you know, you're sliding for most of the game and you're riding and warping and doing all of this stuff. But, you know, if you're on an edge, you can see how we got edges here. If you press L1 or R1 on either side, you will tilt, slide off, grab an item that's hovering over basically the air that if you would, you know, try to jump off to get, you would die. You can lean off, tilt, grab it, pop back on the stage, and then keep sliding on as fast as you can. So this is another perfect example. I'm not going to beat this level. I will restart it, so go ahead and give you a restart to show you the ice. But you can see another major change in this world as there are ice patches. This was such an awesome thing to overcome in code. You know how basically Legend of Zelda ice puzzles work. You know, you slide a block, once you push it, it doesn't stop till it hits something, and then you can push it again, and you basically have these puzzles where you have to figure out the lines. It's similar to that in this game. When you jump on it, you will slide all the way across until you hit a regular space. So you can see that only took one move. So the puzzles are going to get really complex because you only had one move and you were able to traverse like 4 spaces. So when you're trying to figure out how to do the routes in the least amount of moves as possible, the ice puzzles can get really complicated. And as you can see, basically you're off the edge now. There's nowhere to go. If you go back, you slide all the way back. So if you slide forward, you slide all the way here. So this is where, you know, things get a little bit trickier, and we're taking advantage of the player's move set. So if you switch over to diagonal moves, you can warp over here, and then now you have the ability to slide back and forth this way. But you got to understand, you know, there's only a certain amount of moves per level. So you can see there's only one allowed diagonal move. So you can only do that once. So you got to make sure you've grabbed everything that you need to grab before using your own move. So basically, when you're looking at the level layout, you kind of got to plan out your route in advance. So huge new feature. Very excited about that. The puzzles in this world are some of my favorites, and we're going to show you another new update. So basically, the pause menu was not ever shown before in any of the devlogs, and the pause menu is completely functional and working. So I kind of love this one. The game is about tiles and squares, and your squares moving across tiles. So when you hit the pause button, a bunch of little squares come flying in to create the background. The background blurs out, you get the pause text, you get an option to exit level, and you get quick options to change your music and sound effects volume. We've been basically doing the music sound effects options for the last couple of TreeFall releases on PlayStation. So this game, more options than normal. You got music, sound effects, language, and game speed options, trying to do a little bit more on, you know, changing up the game that way. You know, usually back in the day we only had a pause menu. You can just quit and you pressed a button to quit and that was it. So working on it a little bit more, but so you can see exit level, the text flies out, the squares spin back out, and then you will fly back right back to the title screen. You can hit the button and go right into stage select, and then instantly pick a stage just that you want to play. So also a quick announcement. I think this is going to be the last devlog, because I'm basically overviewing a bunch of the stuff, all the stuff that's changed game development wise, like the menus, pause, stage select, how the game works, credits. It's all done. And I'm really keeping these levels kind of hidden. I don't want to show them off in their full nature because they don't want them to be surprised. But I think we showed off a little video clip on Twitter, but not sure. So once you beat the main game, all 55 levels, you do unlock bonus TreeFall levels. I think this might have only been a Patreon announcement in the post from last month. So I just want to show you the quick overview. You know, you've got maze levels and PitterPot levels featured in Tilting Tiles. So of course we love to throw in our TreeFall Easter eggs in all of our games universes. So I'm going to show you one more really complicated level. I haven't decided which one. I'm going to overview these really quickly to try to give you, I'm just going to use an example and not solve the entire level. So this is basically going to show you just how complicated these levels get. You can see you got a really zoomed out view here. You've got 35 moves. You got to figure out how to get to the end. You've got all of the game features basically working in one without the whirlwinds. You've got double teleports. You got bridges. You got ice everywhere. You got all the special moves available to you. And you got to figure out, hey, how do I get every single one of those items in 35 moves? And that's where the crux of this game comes into place, because you can either do it like two different ways. You can just go trial and error and be like, all right, let's just go this way, and then start realizing how many things, be like, crap, I gotta warp back to get here, you know, I gotta tilt over here, gotta ride the bridge across here, and then you realize, oh, I can diagonal here, but you cannot diagonal onto the ice because that would just shoot you off into nowhere. So you got to warp back, you got to slide back, you got to warp back in here, slide to get down to this area. As you can see, I'm already halfway out of my moves because that's not very optimal. So basically, you can do this through trial and error and figure out, all right, this way is too much, backtracking this way takes too many moves, this is the way I should go first. Or you can sit here and look at the level and go, all right, I see what I see, and then you try to figure out, planning out, you know, which way is going to be the fastest way, attempt it, and then try to calculate out how many moves it's going to take to get you to the end. This game has a lot of thinking. I absolutely love it. Some of the levels are ultra complicated. In testing levels like this, I mean, to me, now that I designed the level and I've played through the level, you know, and I can get through these levels in like a minute. You know, if somebody followed a guide, they can get through this level in no time. But if you are trying to figure it out for the first time, as we've seen in testing, it can take people 30 minutes or more just to solve a single level, just to get through. So this game really does have a ton of content, as we'll back out here and show you at the title screen. There is 58 levels in this game. We originally were planning for 50, but I ended up doing a little bit extra to fully take out World 3 and flesh out the ice stuff. And then there's 2 maze bonus levels and 1 PitterPot bonus level. Just easy levels, icing on the cake. The second maze bonus level is actually kind of hard, but you're kind of given a brief moment of like, wow, I solved all these really hard puzzles, and now we have a chance to just have some fun and just knock out the rest of the game, and just see some TreeFall bonus content. But in my early testing, we had 3 different testers test this game, and it took them around an hour to over an hour just to do the first set in the World 1. And you know, that's not even really indicative of like, you know, there's 3 worlds. It would take you 3 hours to beat the game, because World 1 has a lot of tutorial levels that you can do in like 30 seconds that basically show you, all right, this is how the whirlwind works. All right, this is how the bridge works, all that kind of stuff. So really, you know, depending on your skill level and your, you know, the way you think and how many times you attempt a level, you know, this game has up 3 to 5 hours worth of content in it, which is a lot longer than, you know, most TreeFall games. And then, you know, speedrunners are going to be able to do this once they get the optimal routes. They change the game speed, move up the character speed, and if they don't make any mistakes, they're clicking buttons as fast as they can, they have it all memorized, you know, they can probably beat the game in 30 minutes. So a ton of content. I'm very excited about sharing it with you all. The price point of this game is going to be $4.99. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that you're getting a pretty huge package and nice level of polish for that price. So let me know what you guys think of Tilting Tiles in the comments below. Now that you've seen some new gameplay elements, the ice, how the giant levels work together with ice and bridges and teleports and whirlwinds. Let me know what you think of the tilting animation. You know, I worked pretty hard on getting it just right, so it's kind of like it has a little bit of character to him, where he would kind of like grab it, he hovers a second, and then like slides back on really quickly. You know, so just stuff like that is all really cool. The menu, let me know what you think of the menu and all the different new options, like changing the game's running speed, like how fast the character can move, language options, all that kind of stuff. I hope you guys are looking forward to Tilting Tiles. I have found a huge bug, and that's why this devlog took so long to come out. I had to fix an issue with getting stuck on those floating bridges, and it made me have to delay the game just a tad. It was supposed to come out in October, but now it's coming out in November. So I hope you guys are super excited for this game. It's coming out next month. And on top of that, as soon as this game comes out, we've got some new devlogs coming for you soon. Some surprise projects we're working on that weren't even announced in the TreeFall Studios Developer Conference. If you missed that video, check it out. We'll have new updates on those games coming really soon. But alright guys, with that being said, we've already given a big shout out to our patrons. I'll catch you guys in the next video.